Welcome back to Motivation Mondays with Monica Marie Jones. I am here having a very interesting discussion with Miss Kalyn Risker of Sisters Acquiring Financial Empowerment. Now, up until this point, we have really identified what domestic violence looks like, how it spans far more than just physical abuse. So if you want to support the cause, if you want to volunteer, if you feel like you heard something today that helped you to realize that perhaps you need help, we want you to be able to contact S.A.F.E. So Kalyn, tell us how to do that.
Sure. They can call our toll-free hotline. The number is 800-757-4919. That's 800-757-4919. Our website is newsafestart.org, NEWSAFESTART.org. We're also on Facebook, Sisters Acquiring Financial Empowerment. We're all over the internet.
Now, I had some time to research and study your website as I prepared for the show,
Okay.
and it's very informative, very interesting, and on that website you share your story. Now, I want to ask you, I'll take you back to her quote that I mentioned earlier. I use my personal victory over circumstances to help inspire others to action. So if you could tell us about whether you want to share your personal victory or some other safe success stories that are near and dear to your heart.
Well, my own story is that I'm a survivor of domestic violence. In 1998, I was in a 7.5-year relationship with my daughter's father. And she was 4.5 then, she's 20 now. Labor Day weekend of that year, he shattered my eye socket. And I have a titanium implant that replaced the bone. It was really hard for me on a lot of levels, as you can imagine, physically, emotionally, mentally, and also economically, because now I'm in a situation where he was the primary breadwinner. I got to get back on my feet, and as well as physically get back on my feet.
Yes.
And so I was fortunate that I was able to do that. Me and my daughter and I, we went back to counseling, we got help. I ended up working in the field of human resource management, where I saw so many victims of domestic violence and how it affected not only them and them on an economic level, but how it even affected their coworkers. From coworkers having to take up the slack for an employee whose absenteeism is starting to get really bad and productivity is low, to also coworkers who's concerned about the coworker and would try to do things to protect them, possibly putting themselves in harm's way.
Yeah.
Then I saw how it affected the company because of all of this turmoil going on. It caused the company a loss in productivity and increased absenteeism, plus increased turnover costs, retraining costs, increased costs in additional security. So all of these things I saw how it affected, and so from my own personal experience and my professional experience, as well as divine intervention, is where S.A.F.E started in 2006, and we're now celebrating our 8th anniversary. We've helped over 852 victims of domestic violence in Detroit since we started.
Oh my goodness. And just think of how Kalyn could have taken her situation and just said, oh, this is just something I dealt with. But you took what you went through, and it's like you saved so many other people, or helped so many other people, or supported so many other people. And a lot of times when we go through something hard, it's just like, oh, woe is me, and we just kind of sulk in that. But why not take that pain and turn it into power?
Yes.
Take that struggle and turn it into a strength.
But I will say that I think that it's important to make sure you're good first, because hurt people hurt people.
Oh yeah.
So this happened in 1998. So I had 1998 until 2006 to get myself together, to go through counseling, make sure my daughter was okay, to forgive, to heal, to grow, to experience some other relationships, to go back to school. So I did some things for myself first before I started helping other people. It's like when you get on the airplane, they say put on your own oxygen mask first before you help other people. I think that's very, very important. There's so many victims of domestic violence who want to help other victims of domestic violence. And I'm sure this isn't just in domestic violence. This might also be sexual assault survivors, child abuse survivors, all type of people that might have this experience where something heinous happened to you so bad you just don't understand it. Because I didn't understand it. How could this person who we had a life together, a child together, this was my best friend, try to kill me? How does this happen?
Right.
And I had just had to get to a point where I forgave and I let it go, and I made a decision I'm not crazy, so I'll never be able to rationalize a crazy situation.
Right.
I'll never be able to rationalize a crazy situation.
Right.
So I just, okay, that's crazy, beyond my comprehension, and I had to be okay with that. And that took a while to get there.
Oh man, and that's so important. That's something I constantly try to practice and promote is self-care.
Yes.
Because we will just get busy doing something
Exactly.
to get over something
And especially
else.
women, you know, because we're nurturers. So then what it is, it becomes a justification of why this happened to you. So I must have went through this so that I can help other people. And that's a dangerous line to go through, because now you're not focusing on your own healing, your own okay. It's just like, okay, it's kind of like a re-victimization. Like, I was the victim so that now I can help other people. Instead of, all right, let me just get me together. Stuff happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And then, you know, once I learn some things and experience some things and I'm in a good place, now I'm going to help others.
Yeah, because I even think of how sometimes I just try to get busy about motivating the world without taking time for myself, and you'll have a breakdown.
You
and
will.
Next thing you know, you just shut everything down. Everybody like, where'd she go?
Exactly.
And you can't truly fulfill your purpose.
Exactly.
Because you have not taken the time to nurture and care for and heal yourself.
Exactly. And I've sat in groups that were facilitated by people that I feel experienced that, and then they were dictating the group session and trying to get therapy through the group of people that they're trying to help. And that's just not good.
Right.
So, to tell you, I wanted to also make sure I told you about a couple of our clients.
Yes, I would love to hear that.
So we have some awesome success stories. I mean, from one woman who started with us, and she had lost her kids through Child Protective Services because of the failure to protect her children because she had them in an abusive home. It happens. And so working with her, she got work, and this is over time, work, got a place, got back on her feet, showed herself in a position to be able to get her kids back. So she got her kids back. One just graduated. I went to graduation. I was all happy. I know.
Yes.
So, you know, we've had clients that start their own businesses. We had one client that started a delousing business, removing lice from kids' hair.
I just watched a movie about, well, not a movie about lice, but where that happened. I'm like, if I had to do that, so that is a very needed business.
It's a needed business, you know. So we have a whole micro entrepreneurship component that we help survivors of domestic violence start their own business. How do you start your own business when you're also concerned about your safety and marketing and promoting yourself?
Yeah.
You know, how do you seek work if you're being stalked? You know, how do you return back to school? And so the work that we do is really specific, from budgeting, entrepreneurship, finding work for a survivor of domestic violence, integrating safety planning throughout the whole component.
Yeah, and that's so awesome that you provide those supports, because as you mentioned your work in human resources, I guess I never realized how many different things. It's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
You, of course, you think, oh, the emotional hurt and my family, but you don't think it affects the job,
Correct.
it affects the friends, it affects the company's well-being.
Correct.
So, therefore, I see it being necessary for companies to
Exactly.
address it.
Exactly. And it costs U.S. employers over $13 billion a year, domestic violence. I mean, I have to think that affects so many job openings. So when you talk about it hurting everyone, it literally hurts everyone. Children that grow up in domestic violence homes, I need to learn what the statistic is, but it's like multiple times over that they will either be abused or become abused.
Yeah,
it just affects so many things, and so you know, it's so easy for people to just say, okay, that's them in their house, that doesn't have anything to do with me, and turn your head. But then you still have to interface. You're still affected by all these different things that happen when the police come, when insurance claims are made. It affects your area. It does affect you. Domestic violence affects everyone, so that's a big thing that I want to say. And you know, there are some corporate or entities that are getting on board and that are getting it and are starting support. So S.A.F.E Foundation is one that's really big. They actually developed the whole budgeting, financial money management curriculum. If people go to click2empower.com, they're a really good resource. Sam's Club in Southfield had me out to do some training with their employees and their staff around domestic violence, because they seen some incidents where they saw like an abuser coming in and sitting in the food court area and just sitting there threatening and intimidating and, you know. So what do? So it's important that, you know, employers get on board and not just fire people who are in those situations, because it costs you money to fire and rehire someone else versus okay, what can I do with this person as a competent employee before this happened? Otherwise, what can we do to support them and to keep our business safe? Because just because you get rid of that person doesn't mean you're not going to get somebody else. The statistics are 1 in 4 women are affected by domestic violence in their lifetime.
1 in 4. Oh my goodness. So you are getting some valuable information here. I encourage you, every year as I think about, who do I want to support, who do I want to give money to, who do I even just want to help by sharing their information, I always think about S.A.F E, Sisters Acquiring Financial Empowerment. So make sure while we are on a commercial break, watch the commercial, but also open a tab to newsafestart.org, and we will be back to talk about this 8-year anniversary celebration that you have coming up this weekend.
This Friday, yes.
All right, so stay tuned, my friends, and tell 22 more friends to tune into UrbanNationRadio.com. We'll be back after this commercial and musical break.